the Orange Peel Podcast, where we peel the covers off juicy hidden truths. In this podcast, we will discuss one of the most devastating health diagnoses anyone can receive: cancer.
Sumatra, we're back from our break, and I was just really touched and impressed by what you chose as a ministry in helping others through this diagnosis of cancer. And one of the things that you create is a notebook.
Yes.
And so, Greta, I know you had an opportunity to see one presented. What did you think?
Oh, absolutely. It was full of information that would be helpful spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It was a very touching book, and our own Taryn Pearson has been diagnosed with cancer, and watching you go through that book with her and seeing her face and her joy, I was very thankful and grateful to be a part of that presentation. Would you tell us more about the book?
Well, back when I was doing the support group more actively, it still exists and I still do it, but it came to me that not only did we need the meetings, we needed reminders. We needed something for those alone moments. As I was saying earlier, I use songs, I use sermons, I use articles, I just gathered information, and it dawned on me that different people at different points, like I started doing the support books for the hospital visits. If you were in the hospital, if you had been recently referred to me and I was introducing myself, I not only wanted to visit you bedside or at your home, I wanted to leave something to support you after I was gone. And so I started gathering information, and I started customizing books for the person that I was trying to support at a particular time. But when we first started the support group, we had a newsletter, and the idea was to support through the monthly distribution of information, encouraging words, and that got to be a lot for me and the other people that were working in the group to try to do the newsletter, to do the meetings, to give the guest speakers. But the compilation of that data over a period of time still serves its purpose, and so that's what I put in the notebooks, are different physical support articles that talk about the benefits of exercise, the benefits of nutrition, the benefits of prayer, encouraging words, just touch points to make a person's day. If I have other information, I'll put that in there, but sometimes I put together activities to still the mind, to help focus. One of the things that I cannot locate right now is the articles that I had on chemo brain. Anybody going through cancer with the effects of, with the treatment of chemo has the possibility of developing what they call chemo brain, which is the brain's response to the killing of the cancerous cells and killing some good ones, and having slight memory blocks and loss of focus or inability. And as you start to recover, you want to work on your focus to help know that you're returning to your norm. And so I put together little activities to kind of keep your mind and your body in contact with one another. And one of them is coloring, fine coloring or just abstract coloring. You could take up painting, sometimes I suggest activities just to keep you going. And I put this together in a book, and I call it a support book, and I just customize it for whoever I'm doing the book for. But I've learned to support various forms of cancer because cancer is its own special umbrella. And I don't just support breast cancer, even though that's what I started out. I just support people with cancer because a lot of the processes and the treatments are the same.
So true.
So anyway, that was just something that I thought that I could leave with them to support long after an initial visit or bedside visit. And I do it alone or I do it with group members as far as going to support. But just was trying to think of another way to stay present because cancer is more than a visit a day long. It's a life-changing experience. And so I just thought to do it and I did it. I don't know.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you thinking of others in such a demonstrable way that you prepare these notebooks, because I've looked at them and that's a lot of work.
Yes. But it's a beautiful work because I'm praying the whole time I'm doing it.
Oh,
and I'm
great.
asking God to help me create this book for this person.
So God created that book through you?
Yes. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I can't find one of my articles. I don't know what I'm going to do. I get stuck. But I've gathered a compilation of different things that I think that speak to me. And I ask for direction whenever I put the book together because it's usually for an individual. I don't have a generic book.
So let me ask you this. How helpful is the book to the person's family and caregivers?
It's a very helpful book because a lot of times my response, the patient, the person that's in treatment has said to me is that I shared my book with my family and they were finally able to get it. They kind of understood with the articles and stuff that I put in there and the way that you approach giving out support information, ideas for them of what to do. And what I did not get to include in my latest books is the little summarization sheet of areas of support that are needed. What I was saying earlier is that once you get a diagnosis, look at your life and look at all the things that you do and then those areas that you're going to need support in. I wanted to put that in the books that I recently made, but I used to have it in some earlier books. But it's just kind of a guide on the areas, so ideas on where you need the support, so I can start the thinking for the individual and the family member. This is where I can support them by inserting those ideas of just saying this is your daily responsibilities, at minimum. You got to do grocery shopping, you got errands to run, you got to get your prescriptions picked up. If not, can you get them delivered? Can I arrange transportation? Can I get an Uber to the doctor? We've got some different resources now, but all the ways that you're going to need support, when a family sees this here, it gives them a inside look at what maybe they can do. So it encourages everybody that is within the scope of that book.
Reminds me of one of my favorite expressions. I shared it with my kids and grandkids. That love's not enough.
No.
You also need knowledge.
Yes.
With love.
Yes.
Because without the knowledge, you may think you're showing love.
Yeah.
But it's not being received as such by the other person because you're not giving them what they need. And as a matter of fact, in marriage, there's a guy who wrote a book called 5 Love Languages. It kind of touches on that. You have to show people love in the way they can receive it.
Yes.
Okay, and it's the same thing. So you have to give people with cancer help in the way they can receive it.
And
so I
then
think
you got to
I like
learn to speak it to
Yeah.
more than just one. And so that was the other benefit to the book. I got more involvement with supporting. I learned to support families, and the families were supported by the books because if they couldn't come to the meetings and get the information on how to support their loved one, that was what I was trying to teach, was how to support a person during a cancer journey, and needed the people in their daily lives to figure out how to engage. But everybody couldn't take off to attend a meeting, so they may not have been healthy enough to even come to the meeting. So I started creating the books. I'd go and present the books and share with them and say, share it with your family, because everybody reading the book is going to have a different takeaway, but I try to broaden the topic enough to where it comes back to supporting this person with cancer as a group, as a family, as a community, whatever your little small community is, just how to support you, and then hopefully the book will support you when you're alone. If the need arises, or it may be that you live by yourself and you just need a little direction on what I need to be asking for, whoever I'm asking for it.
So share with, I'm going to put you on the spot here, share with us what you would say would be the top 3 things that a family member or caregiver should know or do for their loved one who is a cancer patient.
Number 1 is to know what kind of cancer they have, and if they can, go to the doctor and get more information with them. Accompany them to the doctor, because when I listen to people that reach out to me, I need to know what cancer you have, what are the doctors saying, and what treatments are they administering. I can just about tell where we are in our journey by hearing those. So that would be the number 1 thing, is to know the cancer that you have, where's the origin of the cancer. All the cancers are named based upon where they originate in the body. And so I want to know that, and I think that's important for anybody to know, is the origin of that cancer. What's the proper name of it? Because it means something. And you'll be better able to help them if they come to the point that they're not able to speak it because they're just having difficulty accepting it, or they just have trouble talking or whatever. You might be on the next in line list of, I forget what you call it, but you might be the advanced directive person. You need to know what they got. So number 1 is to know the proper name of the cancer, and if you can, visit the doctor with them to hear it, because everybody can't receive all the information and retain it and then share it properly. So if you could go to the doctor, or at least listen in on a phone call or something, that would be the top thing. The next thing is to actually understand that if they don't have it already, we need a plan of action for your support, where we could support what it looks like in what's your daily support look like? What does your weekly support look like? If it means getting food to you, preparing the food, getting you to the doctor, getting you in and out of the bed, if you've got nurses coming over, somebody answering the door if you're not mobile enough, but just get the scope of that so that you can jump in. But it's hard to get the average person with the diagnosis. It's hard for them to get their head wrapped around it. So it's even harder for a family to get in there and support, because they just don't know the whole scope.
Right.
So if you could learn that, what their daily routine is and what it takes to keep them going, That's the number 2 thing. I don't know what number 3 is.
Well, those two, we're gonna know.
Those are very good.
Yeah, we can stop at 2.
Okay.
So, what would be your top healing and coping tips for people?
I think the top healing is the nutrition and diet, and the exercise. I think they're gonna all work together because they're gonna work on the cellular level, they're gonna work on the mental, they're gonna work on the physical.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the areas that I think we need to work. And so if we're coping or healing, we're looking at our nutrition, we're looking at our mobility, our exercise. We want the performance of the muscles, we want the cells to be healthier, stronger, able to fight. And how we choose to get that is up to us, but that's how I coped, because I was busy with those things. I didn't want this again. I wanted to get better, but I didn't want it again. And I was asking God to give me whatever it was every day. And I was just being fed, and I was actively participating in feeding my spirit, feeding my body, feeding my mind. And I learned in the process that the environment in which I was in was a factor. So I learned that exercise is good, but it's even better when it's outside. When you get the vitamin D, you get the fresh air, you get all of these thoughts, and you can have communion with God. To me, so I did the walking, and the eating, and praying. That's how I coped.
So I'm gonna ask you an unusual question here. So I want you to give your thoughts and advice to people who may not have a deep faith in God, who are going through cancer. And what would you say to them in coping with this very vicious disease?
If you don't have a faith, I think the other things are still relevant. The nutritional education, understanding the body and how it's made, and understanding how it has gotten to this diagnosis, with or without God. You still need to understand the body. And then you need a proactive, practical approach to getting better. You have to have a desire to get better. You have to educate yourself and those that support you on how they can help you to get better, if it's to be. And the other thing, that with or without God, you need to be as fair as you can in your thinking, and that's handle your business. The business of whatever assets you have, whatever accounts you have, know that things are going to be done the way you want to do them. So you're going to go and make sure that you've gotten things in order. That stuff that you might not have thought about before, it's fair. At the point that you get a diagnosis, a lot of things happen. And you have to just decide that you want to be better, and then you need to start going in that direction.
That's good advice. And so let's talk to our Christian family.
Okay.
So you have God. So you have the secret weapon.
Yes.
So how do you use it?
You got to explore that faith. You got to do some walking in that faith, and you got to know. At least what I did was I stayed. I don't know. You got the secret weapon. I don't know what else to say except for explore faith, because faith is believing, even though you can't see it. So I had a faith walk, and I'm still on it, of my lifetime. I mean, everything I did, everything that I do now, I already know it's laid out. I just have to go along with the journey that God has put out there and discover. I'm just discovering what He's laid out for me. So I'm like, I knew that He had assigned this to me, but I realized immediately He had already assigned me rehearsal, and then He gave me the full onslaught. And then I didn't know about this other stuff that He was going to pull out on me. I'm like, but I say, He's just showing all His power and His strength. But it went back to my teaching, and I'm just like, okay, God, I know whatever it is, even if you decide that I'm not going to be here with my son, that's going to be what's in His best interest. I'm just going to accept it, but while I'm here, I'm just going to work it out. I'm going to do everything I can. Because I got a whole list of things I want to do, but I know it's your will.
So I haven't been through what you've been through, but let me share you my thoughts, and Greta, you're on deck. You can share your thoughts too on how we encounter God through our different circumstances.
Okay.
Number one for me is live courageously.
Okay.
Meet God face to face. It occurred to me one day, He knows what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Why won't I say it?
Okay.
And so I don't have a problem, and I think it is deep in my relationship with God for me to tell Him I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're doing, and I'm having trouble hanging on. I think we have to talk honestly with God,
Yes.
while not losing our faith, because we know He has our best interests at heart, but this human mind and this human body,
Yes.
it's just very difficult to manage through circumstances, and He knows that.
Yes.
And that's one of the beauties of Jesus coming in flesh.
Yes.
He knows exactly what we're
That's
going
why I do all of this here. I'm just like, okay, I don't know what we're doing today, but okay. Whew. I'm just like, okay. I got here,
Yeah.
but I don't know what's going on.
Exactly. So I try to live courageously and honestly before Him. And I try things. Because one thing I've learned is if I get out of line, He slap me back in line.
Yes.
And that's okay. Sometimes it hurts a lot. But I think sometimes, when we're looking for answers, we have to experiment.
Yes.
I learned that as a kid in the book of Proverbs. And somewhere in there it says, try me.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a speaker talk about it, and he said that you ought to take every proverb and every promise and test it.
Okay.
And you'll find God's faithful. So when it says a soft answer will turn away wrath,
Mm-hmm.
try it.
Okay.
And I went through a process when I was a teenager. I started testing, all of those little pieces of advice he gave. When I found a circumstance, I'll either create a circumstance or in the circumstance,
You create
test it. And you know what it did? Built my faith. I said, God knows what He's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Now, I probably would never did that, but I like that.
Well, I was kind of weird.
No.
Yeah, I was the kid in the ghetto that had a chemistry set.
But you, well, boy, is what I would say. 'Cause my son would try some stuff,
Yeah.
and boys are a little fearless.
True. That is true.
So,
Yeah.
but I like that. I never thought about that, but I like that.
Good.
Live courageous.
Well, I think with the courage comes the gratitude. The gratitude and the thankfulness. So, I think when we raise our heads off those pillows every day, our gratitude and thankfulness should rise with it. So, yes, I do believe that your mentor Job questioned God quite a bit.
That's exactly right. He lived
And,
courageously.
Yes,
did
he
not?
was. He was very courageous in his approach to God, and as was Abraham and Moses, even in his rejection of God's idea. I don't want to do that, and but I think we forget he is our Father. He is our friend, and He's everything to us, and we can share our deepest thoughts and and desires with us. He will discipline us, or he will give us the desires of our heart, So, yes, I think that if we remember he is our Father, if we remember that he is our counselor, that we will move forward with courage and gratefulness and thankfulness.
And the vision he had, he gonna try on everything. I love that.
Yeah, just those spirits.
But I appreciate you all sharing that with me, because when you said counselor, I'm like, that's what he was for me. That's what he is. I'm like, I'm at consultations. I'm over here. I need to know what we're doing today. Can you give me a peek? And some of it, he just wasn't going to do it because I didn't need to know that. And so God dispenses information on a need-to-know basis. He might have all of this, but the scriptures tell you, we don't think like him. We can't understand what he understands. No way. And I tell everybody, I would have never raised my hand for the life that he's given me for this diagnosis of cancer, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, because who I am is a result of that life-changing experience.
Yeah, that's one of those courageous conversations I've had with God.
I've asked him, why did you choose pain to be the thing to make us better? Could there not have been another way? And,
did you get
and, and there's word that, and I did. He said, look at my son. And it says through what he suffered, he learned obedience.
Yes.
And so, if it's good enough for his son, it's good enough.
Absolutely.
Still doesn't tell me why he invented it. But we'll talk about that when I get there. And so, with that, let me just ask you if you have any final thoughts you want to share.
I can't think of anything that I didn't share.
Okay.
You all have just been great at pulling this out of me and actually allowing me to say it. But I can't think of anything right now.
Well, you have said plenty. So if we might, there's no alcohol in these cups.
Of course.
But if we would, let's toast your victory over cancer.
Thank you. God's victory. Thank you.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we really hope you've enjoyed this podcast, and we hope that you enjoyed it enough to like, comment, and subscribe.
This ends the fourth and final segment of the Big C, Sumatra Harvey, telling her story of her battle with and victory over breast cancer in the midst of life storms. There is more inspiration to come in the future at the Orange Peel Podcast, so get those noise-canceling headphones ready and your schedule blocked to imbibe more juicy truths. For this last segment, we'll offer a poem that was not written by a cancer patient, but speaks beautifully to the transient nature of life, a message good for anyone suffering adversity. The poem is by Robert Frost and is titled, Nothing Gold Can Stay.
Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay.